Hi, Kim. Hiya.
Hi, Kenneth. Good. I just wonder, in a way, can you say this message is so simple and therefore you can't tell, in a way, put words on it because if it was really complicated, then you could put a lot of words on it and in a way start a teaching or something like this. I just, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it what falls under the heading of non-duality is pretty much that. These days, it's a teaching or a philosophy or a religion or whatever you want. You know, if it's a clear, uncompromising message, then it's all about a resonance, and the words aren't terribly important, really, because there's a continual illumination and clarification that there's nothing to get, there's nothing to know, there's nowhere to get, there's nothing to understand, you know. Um, so yeah, in that way, that's always made very very clear that there is nothing to get, there's nothing to understand, and that's sensed straight away because the whole energy of it is just a sharing, a natural, boundless sharing. Um, Not a prescription. It's a
yeah,
description. It's not a prescriptive message speaking to somebody about something that they can understand or know, or you know. So it's all just energy. Then it's all just it's just a resonance, and people will make of it what they make of it. These are words that I said about it. Someone could tune into this for a long time and make something of it. And that's okay. That's what appears to happen then.
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
No, it's just because today I heard somebody talk about love and it was so complicated. Uh,
Yeah.
this an understanding of what love is and so on, and it was
Okay.
love like a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. I mean, it's all it all. Any communication is when there's no longer sense of being a self, an individual. There's just everything is just energy. There's just energy, and nothing being everything. And then a communication or someone saying something, it's like an intuition or something. It's not energetically. You can feel there's an energy regarding when someone is speaking, and if they're speaking in a very intellectual way about, like you said, there's someone talking about love like a thing or an object, and it just feels totally different to someone who's to some sort of uh, just a sharing, not necessarily even about what this subject matter. Not that there even is a subject matter, but if it just there can just be an energy to someone speaking sometimes where it's different. There's just maybe it doesn't matter really what it's about, and
yeah,
it has a different quality to it. Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes about like passions and something that's said from a very kind of in a very kind of passionate way. It kind of have a certain feeling to it that's kind of akin to what's going on here a little bit. And then as opposed to then someone who's talking to someone else, it's very intellectual, it's very heady, it's very agenda kind of led as well, and it's uh kind of energetically it's quite heavy.
yeah. Heavy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not obviously, I've said a million times, it's not about right or wrong or anything,
No,
but
no.
those kinds of things then tend to be kind of not as kind of moved away from or whatever. It's all blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It can just be funny to listen at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Thank you,
Thanks,
Kenneth.
Kim. Thank
Yeah.
you. Hi, Gunai.
Hi,
Did I get
Kenneth.
your name right today?
Yes, you did. Thank
Hey.
you. Um, when you look at the whole thing as just being oneness
Mm-hmm.
and no boundaries, no distance. And when you talk about the quality of energy, I just wonder how it is, when you just think it's one energy forming as everything. And then when you talk about different quality, different energy, different quality to different topics, or the way that different characters talk. So can you just talk about
So,
that?
so when I say energy, all there is energy. So when I
Mm.
say everything being nothing, nothing being everything, I that's energy. That's the same. That's not two different things. And when if I use the word oneness, which I guess I do say oneness a bit. Um, Oneness is again the same. Energy is oneness, is everything. So that's all there is. And in that then um, appears a an individual or a sense of someone who feels separate. So that's an appearance in that, and all it is energy appearing as that. And when people speak, they I don't mean that they have a different energy or there's a different energy there as opposed to this other energy that's somehow some other kind of energy. It's all just energy, that's all. And what was being spoken about there was um, just communications. And when someone is very much feels like a person and is speaking to somebody else and telling them something in a very factual way, or it's got a different quality to it in the exact same way as the person, um, just the energy of being the individual. Um, it's an energy. It's a sense. I don't see individuals, but then if somebody starts speaking to me and says this, that, and the other, and I can sense there's a quality, there's a kind of an
Okay.
energy to them when they feel like a person, not just in the words they use or the things they say, but also in it's an embodied energy too. So it's you can energetically sense
You can
that you're
sense
being
that.
spoken to from the illusion of somebody who feels separate, who feels they're speaking to somebody else. So that's what in that other conversation. I'm not talking about there's different types of energy. There's only one energy.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that there's only one. There's this oneness, nothing being everything. But that energy
Maybe you
also
see the different flavors.
appears as a separate person. Appears is the really
Okay.
crucial word there. Appears as a separate person.
Okay.
So even if somebody who knows about, like Kim was talking about, someone who knew about love and they were talking about it in very particular terms, that's just a play of light. That's just energy appearing as someone who knows about love. But the differentiation that was being made was between being spoken to like that, from the sense of somebody who knows something, and a different kind of communication that isn't being prescriptive and telling you about something energetically. It's very different. That's all.
Thank you.
And here, this is not my Zoom meeting. It's nobody's communication. Kenneth is just a character. This is just a sharing, and it's totally boundless and unknowable because it's not coming from a somebody who knows something. So
Good.
that the energetically, it's resonates differently.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, William.
Hi, Kenneth. I've got a question, but what I'm thinking is, does it even matter what the question is?
No, obviously not.
Because ultimately,
Nothing
that's
matters. Nothing matters. Things only matter for the person because the person's living in meaning. Because the person really feels that they are a separate person who's living their life in a world. So there's life and there's me with my life. And once there is that, everything is happening sequentially in time and space, causally. You know, one there is causality, and it's one thing happening after another, and all of those happenings have meaning and significance. When there's no longer sense of being a separate person who has a life, and there's just life, there's just the immediacy of whatever appears, then everything, all of that meaning collapses, because it collapses with the sense of being separate, because it was simply a part of that. So nothing would matter, like you having one question over another. How would any of that matter? Nothing matters. You're not even speaking. You don't. There is no question. It's not that the people would ask a question at this meeting and get an answer that would satisfy. It's that it can be illuminated that there's not even a question.
I feel like I should stop talking after that, because
well, you're not talking, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? You're not speaking. I'm not speaking. Nobody is speaking. There's just speaking. There's just sound. If there's a thought, there's a thought. It's so immediately just whatever appears. It's wow.
When you say, isn't that amazing? I want my world to be real, where I'm a person and you're a person, and
yeah, of course you do. Yeah,
you can help me, basically. It's the narrative.
Yeah. I mean, what's been like, you as a person doesn't want what's being suggested here at all. You don't want this. No, that's why nobody's being spoken to here, because if like there's nobody to speak to, and the person can do nothing but reject what's being said. The person doesn't want this at all. The person just wants to be a person. The person hates what's being shared here. Hates it. Absolutely hates it. And so they either just reject it and move away from it, and oh, enough of that. Oh, bye. And it's gone. Or else, if there is a kind of apparent engagement with it, they just don't hear it. They turn it into something else. The person can't hear what's being said here, because it's nothing to do with the person. It's a resonance that's beyond the person.
That's what I thought when you started doing the introduction. I thought, I can't listen. I've got to leave. I can't.
And then I left.
Oh yeah.
I left to save William. I knew there was some meaning in getting hacked and having my computer shut down exactly at my intro.
It wasn't me who did it. Thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks. Oh, no, knowing me, it's probably like some setting on my computer that restarts it at a certain time every Sunday night. Hi, Otto.
Hello, is my microphone working? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. I was having troubles as well. I've got like a music studio in front of me because I make music, so I've got all these different microphones. I don't know which one's working what.
Yeah, no, it sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Does it sound pretty good? This is my laptop speaker, so good.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
It's funny. I was speaking to my mother. I actually shared your videos with her, and she says, "Gosh, you're very brave doing this. Maybe you should be a bit more egoic, more in your 20s while you're doing your music."
Oh yeah, maybe it should be a bit more all about you. Don't mind.
Yes.
A bit more self-centered.
Yeah, but you can be. It can appear as that. That's fine.
Yeah.
So my question is, I don't know, actually, earlier I sent you an email about I'm studying music at university, and I'm writing an essay, and my essay is titled "You Don't Make Music."
Oh.
So, and my discussion is basically that how through music it's the classic thing of we own things, we are attached to things, they're separate, and this is mine. So when creativity occurs, when creation occurs, we immediately assign ourselves saying, I own this is mine. And the whole essay is talking about how there is nothing. And I use a reference of a bit like the infinity and the boundlessness is like a block of cheese, and your appearance is like a cheese grater. So you take the boundless energy and you move it through the cheese grater, that's just energy moving, and then it creates into form. It has limits, it has bounds, it has, whatever, it could be music. But then all of a sudden we go, even though the cheese, it's still the cheese, we go, that's my cheese.
Okay.
Did you get where I'm coming from? And I say that in class and everyone looks at me like I'm crazy. It's very funny. But I wanted to ask, because I'd love to actually quote something from you and what your thoughts are on music and creativity and how that flows and the attachment that we have to it.
Yeah, I did get your email. Sorry, I didn't.
That's completely
get
fine.
back to you at all. I'd meant to get back to you. Yeah, so I could dig around and see if I have. I did have a section on my website, as I think you said in the email, for essays and writings and stuff, and nothing's gone up in it. I used to write quite a few years ago, and I had started a book or two, and they never got finished. And I did a lot of papers. I actually started the whole thing by writing, because I was writing a blog, so there was lots and lots of writing. So I could probably find something. I like the topic you have. Yeah, it's quite obvious. It's obvious when it's obvious, but it's not when it's not. There's just music, there's the sense of being a person is that you're adding yourself to the music.
Exactly.
That's being played, and that's an artificial addition. So if someone plays the guitar, or even someone sings, let's say someone sings, there is singing, and then there's an embodied sense of being a person that they are singing, and it's a really felt reality for when it's there, and when it's no longer feels there, it's very obvious that it never was there, that it was only an appearance. So any music is everything is like that already, and then we're adding ourselves to it. So if it be music or anything else, any other endeavor, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I find it interesting, because I suppose the point I'm getting to with the creativity of it is that if you're creating from a standpoint of, say, a wave of creative energy happens, right? I'm just here and all of a sudden I'm flowing and music is happening, and then of course you add yourself onto the story, say, oh, I'm making music now, and then and then the mind and thoughts arise saying, oh, I like this music and this is what I like. So it starts to get contrived, like an ocean of boundless energy gets kind of shoved down a pole. And I feel like you're saying with talking to someone, you can feel that in music as well.
You can kind of feel it sometimes. Yeah, you can sometimes feel with music when someone is kind of overlaying it or kind of almost getting in the way of it. Sometimes I describe it like there's kind of a busyness to it that is like the filter of the person getting involved in the music, apparently, obviously. And then the other example would be there'd be musicians that are so, especially when it comes to virtuosity, and someone is so familiar with an instrument that they're really, whatever they are feeling can really come through the playing of it. And I think you can get a sense when you don't get a sense that someone feels they're playing or feels they're doing it. There's just there's a loss. People would describe it as someone who's lost in music. They're just lost because they're just not there. And some of my favorite musicians would have been like that. And I've heard them being interviewed. One musician is Kelly Joe Phelps. He's a country blues musician, and I've heard him being interviewed about that sense of being on stage and being in a flow or a zone where he described there's actually no longer a boundary between me and the listener. There literally just becomes just the music. And funny enough, I only read that about a year ago, and when I first heard him probably 22 years ago, over 20 years ago, that's exactly what was sensed. It was akin to any kind of awakening anyone would describe, or any kind of boom. It was just, it was something other. It was something other about it. And the other about it was he didn't feel he was doing it, making music. There was just music, and it's powerful. Yeah.
Oh, I could talk about it for ages, but I'm sorry, Sarush. I think you put his hand
No,
down.
it's fine. It's nice to hear from you. And the other thing about it is then people try and access. It's like people perceive it then like a state that they can access,
Yes,
getting
yeah.
into flow, and they can somehow get into it. And they may feel they can get into it or not, but it's not. Yeah, it's a different way of looking at that whole thing. It's not you getting into something. Is that there's just such a kind of enjoyment in the creative endeavor that's happening, or the music, then that sense of being separate to it can kind of just fall away.
Yeah, and then
Which
the
can
mind
happen
wakes up.
Sorry, go on.
That's what I said. Then you do something like that, and then something, and the mind falls asleep. Your person, the identity
Yeah.
falls asleep, and it just flows. And then
Yeah.
also the mind wakes up and goes, "Oh, I want to do that again."
Yeah. You kind of take
Try
ownership,
to do it
and
again.
does take ownership of it, because it said, "Well, wasn't that a beautiful piece of music I made?" You know. And the amazing thing is that you had nothing to do with it. It's incredible. Like there
Yeah.
was no Mozart. Isn't that amazing? There's life Mozarting, and there's just the music. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll leave it at
Thanks
that.
a lot.
That's
Lovely to
great.
speak to you. I'll get back to you about that anyway, because I might have something that you could.
Please do. That would be much
Yeah.
appreciated. But I've got some primary research now, so it's even better.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. With the music one, a nice quote for your essay also might be just that Yeats poem is so beautiful. Just the line, "Oh, body swayed to music, oh brightening glance, how do we know the dancer from the dance?" It's the last line of I think it's Amongst School Children by W.B. Yeats, and it's such a gorgeous expression of that. If there's a dancer, is there a dancer dancing, or is there just dancing? You know, similarly with music, is there a musician playing the music, or is there just the music? Hi, Gemma.
Hi, Kenneth. Hi,
Hiya.
everyone. So I just noticed something quite funny happening, because the person before you were talking about, it's gone. But you know how it's completely gone.
It's okay. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's right. You know how you were saying the person hates it?
Oh yeah, the individual, I mean, yeah, is
Yeah.
or
Well,
excuse me, that's kind of a generalization as well, but the person's just being a person. So the person could find it kind of an interesting communication, or maybe a kind of interesting, or be curious about it or whatever as well, maybe, but generally doesn't really, if it's not what's really being suggested here isn't really being heard, then, you know.
because I think what I noticed is over the last sort of week or so since I've been, I discovered what you've been saying, or no one's been saying.
Yeah.
It's almost like my ego has gone, this is really simple. Like, I don't have to try anymore. I don't have to be aware. I don't have to meditate.
Yeah.
But there's a person that's owned the simplicity, or gone, oh, it's easier for me now. But
Okay, possibly. Yeah.
the joke's on the person, because the person hasn't realized yet that that's got to dissolve too. So it's like this funny, walking
Yeah.
this funny tightrope of like realizing the simplicity, but like the joke's on the person, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and all sorts of things can appear to happen, or all sorts of realizations or things or thoughts about this, and it's just that's what's happening. That's just what's appearing to arise. Yeah. So it could be, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Like it could be that it's just that, yeah, it's simple, and then there could be the energy of the person trying to, again, all trying to own the simplicity or trying to know the simplicity. That's also just what's appearing to happen. It doesn't matter. It's totally inescapable anyway. Yeah. Oh, there's a bit of Kelly Joe coming through.
I was just checking him out.
Yeah, he's good. Hi, Finola. I can't hear you very well.
Just close my eyes there. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there's a very bad signal in Leitrim this weekend. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's bad signal all this weekend here. Yeah, I just closed my eyes there and I just saw a mirror, you know, like a mirror, big long mirror.
Mm.
And the glass fell off, and then there was just the glass fell off, and then there was just nothing.
Okay.
So just wondered what you think of that. It's just I know it's more just it's all nothing, but it was very strong there.
Yeah, that's just what appeared to, that's just what happened there. I've got an echo coming through. Echo.
Echo. Whoa.
What's that from, I wonder?
Oh, that's probably, hold on a minute.
You got me on twice.
Yeah, that's, now I know the problem. I didn't realize a music speaker on over there and I didn't know. So now,
yeah, there we
is that
go.
better?
Way better.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's way better, yeah.
I can't hear you now though. Hold on.
Can you not?
No, the sound in Leitrim. I'm going to have to put you up to my ear. It's been like that all weekend with everything I've been doing.
Okay.
Okay, so that's just another, nothing, doesn't mean
Yeah,
anything.
so none of it does. Like it could be any kind of experience or any kind of thing that appears to happen, and none of it's significant, really. It's not about an experience or a state, or it's very ordinary.
Yeah,
very
it's there anyway without
and
having to do.
that can also, it could also be like whatever you just described, or anyone could describe, that people couldn't describe this sense of, they're just boom, there's just there's just what's appearing to happen, whatever they're describing. But
okay, well, I'll ask it differently. When it happened, there was a little.
Yeah, and there can be there can be all sorts of resonances, put it that way, and however people describe them. But one isn't none of them are in any way significant.
Even when you have that opening, that's not significant.
No, nothing is significant at all. If it was significant, it would mean you would be in a story where there's meaning. There is no meaning. It's only significant to the person, in contrast to something else. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
What's being illuminated here is just aliveness. And aliveness can appear to be anything, and is nothing at all. So it can't be described or known or
okay.
So if it was like that, then it would be that would be an experience for someone, that this happening, and then it's boom, and then there's just oneness or whatever. That's a thing that happens to somebody. When the sense of being a person apparently falls away, nobody can ever really describe it. But one consistent thing you'll hear all the time is nothing really happened. And the reason nothing happened is the sense of being a person was always an artificial addition to what was appearing to happen. So when it is no longer, it's clearly seen it actually was never even happening. Was never even really happening, only apparently. This is very, 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 this is more ordinary than you could ever imagine. What's being shared, what's being suggested. It's already just sitting on a seat, speaking, thoughts arise. That's how it appears to hide, by just simply already being everything. The person imagines, when the person imagines what's being suggested, it's to do with some sort of kind of BAM experience or whatever. But that's just another experience. No matter how fireworky the experience is, it doesn't actually matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Finola. Nice to see you.
You too.
Hi, Ivan. Ivan.
Yeah, Ivan. Nice. Sound okay?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. Sometimes we say being half alive, having half a life, or well, you were just talking about things not being significant or significant, and having.
You're kind of muffled every few words. Are you moving the mic around or something? I can hear you clearly, and then you get muffled again.
You can hear me much better now.
Much better now, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, those AirPods aren't. The microphone is troublesome.
Ah, yeah.
You sometimes talk about being half alive, or having a half a life,
yeah, being half alive. I sometimes say that about the person, the individual. So, and that's in relation to the subject-object reality of living in the real. So the person feels like a person who sees other people and things and has a life, and that's that half alive.
Okay, I was just trying to compare it to what you talked about just now about nothing being significant or not significant, and being half alive sounds sounds not sounds like I don't want to be that. I don't want to be half alive.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the agitation, really. That's the agitation for the person, no matter what the quality of their story is. So as an individual, your story could be quite fine. You know, you could be quite happy with your lot and everything, but there's something underneath that, or something. There's a sense of something not quite, something being missing. And what's being suggested is actually, it's not that there is something missing. It's that you, as a person, as an individual, are in this subject-object reality where nothing is seen as it actually is, because you're living in the real, and you're only seeing things and objects, and it's the only real is the something, so that no thing isn't seen. So that's the half alive, in the sense of nothing is something and something is nothing. That's that. It's in that sense, I mean, half alive, really. So if there's no thing and something, this is the illusion. This is the duality of the individual, nothing and something. Then there's the person feels like something in something else, and then no thing is not seen. So it's half alive. And what's being shared and suggested is what's actually yearned for is simply already what appears to happen, because this is already nothing being everything. It's already just simply this. It's not something else. It's not around the next corner. And actually there is no you in this. There's no you in the body. There never has been. So it's an apparent loss, and in that apparent loss, everything. In that apparent loss, it's nothing. Everything is completely empty. All beliefs, everything is totally lost. It's absolute poverty. You don't have anything. You don't know anything, and then it's nothing is seen to be everything, and boom.
So it's the newness then.
Yeah, the newness. The newness is nothing being everything. Is the fullness. Is already everything is new, because it's nothing being everything, and then the half alive is not seeing the newness. Half alive is the bubble. I think we started with that at the beginning of the bubble of me. Is living in the known, living in the loop of me. In the familiar, in the known, in the familiar, to keep yourself safe. That's what it is all the time. And a fear of the unknown, which is no thing, which is the absence of you. And when there is no longer that sense of being the loop is no longer apparently there, everything is obviously nothing, so everything is always new. It's not that there's this sense of time and space collapses also with the sense of being a person, and it's only an appearance. So time is an appearance. It appears to happen, but there's no that sense of everything being linear and causal, and now something happens and happens and happens, collapses. Everything is new and unknowable.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to hear from you. Oh, hi, John. Oh, no, sorry. Sarush was ahead of you there. Sarush.
Hey, hello. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a recovering meditator, and
It's been 1 year and 5 days since my last meditation session.
Thanks for sharing. This is like, since hearing your communication, I've kind of been turned off a lot of the other folks that I used to listen to. And the reason why I said I'm a recovering meditator is because at least the way it was or has been taught to me, or the way I see it being taught, is it's about this cessation of like the narrative of the story. However, I don't think there's it doesn't feel like there's anything I can do to stop the sense of there being a story. Like it just seems so automatic. Like something happens, the self-referential process is already going. So
Yeah, so it's not even that there's nothing you can do. It's that there's no you. So when you go to the heart of it and it's seen there's no you, if there's no you, it's not even there's nothing I can do, because there's no I to do or not do. What what you're saying is, I agree with what you're saying. It's like these things are saying there's something you can do to stop the narrative, soften the narrative, da 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 da. All they're doing is feeding the narrative. Really. Any sense that there's something that I can do to adjust the narrative, and then somehow that will, it's all the same stuff. It's always just, it's so seductive to the person. You know, if you just meditate, or if you just be in mindful awareness, and there's always just new stuff comes all the time as well, and this is the real teaching, you know, this is it, and it feels so seductive, because for the person there's a really embodied sense there's something is missing, like there's a real sense of yearning, because of course there's little old me and there's this huge world out there, and there's, what is it that's missing? Because wholeness, it's not whole, it's two, it's many, it's fractured, it's, and that it's in that sense then of your unworthiness that arises out of that all of these things are so appealing to the person, and this sharing then, which those other things are teachings, this is not a teaching. There's nothing to teach, there's nothing to know, it's just a sharing, is energetically totally different to those, and illuminates very clearly that it's not that there's nothing you can do, that it's that there is no you who can do or not do anything. So everything, totally and utterly, that explodes everything, all of those things just totally blows them out of the water.
so really then there's no difference between me being stuck in rumination, just going over something, and someone meditating and being in a state, or like being in the fourth.
No. It's all of that's just a story. Yeah. So someone who feels they're in some kind of meditative state that's somehow, you know, closer to enlightenment or something, is absolute, total and utter nonsense. All it is just a state. All it is a cultivated state of mind, which they feel then is a more peaceful, or there's oneness. It's just a state, that's all. And I throughout this meeting it was pointed out that this is not about a state. It's not about any kind of state or experience or anything. So exactly as you said, if there's some kind of ruminating about something, and that's it, as much as, of course it is, as much as any kind of person who's apparently meditating. This is inescapable, what's yearned for.
It makes it feel so impersonal, but not in like a disassociative kind of sense.
Yeah.
It's a strange, like, because I can feel whatever the feelings are associated with thinking of an anxious thought, or I can be, my body and my mind, whatever, I feel calm whenever I'm doing something calm, but then they're the same it's only like the story that places a value on, hey, when you're feeling anxious like this, that's not good. Totally. When you're calm, that's better. So do more things like that.
It's only part of the story. Yeah. It's that whole energy of the person who pulls in one thing and pushes out another. pulls in pleasure and pushes away pain. And has that whole narrative of I'm not enough this and I'm too much this.
It's pretty funny then. At the end of the
Oh
day.
yeah, it's hilarious. It's not funny when you feel caught up in it, but
no, not when you feel caught up in it. No, but then then it's just
like
not funny.
The whole individual is very endearing. It's a very endearing thing. When you don't feel like a person, it feels very endearing when someone reports themselves to be a person. There's a kind of an endearing thing, and I know that sounds really patronizing, but it's not meant to be patronizing. But it is. But as that for that sense of being a person who feels absolutely separate, it can be torture. It's totally torture, and it just plays out like it is for that body mind.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say is it's interesting being in the mental health field myself, seeing people, and then hearing this as well. It creates a kind of tension, because they're coming with you're
coming with solutions and prescriptions, and
I kind of have to play along too.
Well, you see, the other thing is that's just what's appearing to happen. Like there's many people have worked in the helping professions and have just not felt like people anymore. And what really happens is the kind of something in the work, the quality of it just changes. It changes, and it's less kind of goal driven, and a sense that it's all just energetic. That's the thing. It's seen to all just be energetic. And also it in one way it can be, when it's seen, it can also be just seen, well, that's what's happening there. So someone comes with a mental health problem and it's seen, well, it is what appears to be happening there. That's what appears to be happening. And it's a different kind of energy around it then. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to hear from you. Yeah.
Thanks.
John was there and John's gone again.
I'm there. I just was realizing it was getting late. Are you ready for a quick one then?
Oh yeah, it's fine.
So it was just nothing being everything. So I was just kind of relating it to the music discussion from earlier.
Yeah.
And so the everything appears as many different things. And I was wondering if that might be down to vibration and frequency, so that the energy kind of vibrating at different frequency makes it appear as different things, all the while it being the same thing, because it's all energy.
Yeah, it is all vibration. Yeah, it's
at different frequencies that makes it appear different.
Yeah, I guess so. Like if you get into the quantum mechanics of it, you're into kind of quantum mechanics then and things. And my understanding is really it's all
I was just looking at the guitar on the wall there.
Yeah.
Each string will make a different sound because it vibrates at a different frequency, so it seems different, but it's all the same.
Yeah, it's a nice analogy. Yeah.
Oh well.
Let's see. It's probably out of tune.
You're gonna play us a song?
Let's see, we'll hear some frequencies.
Woo!
There you go.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yes, yes.
Woohoo! Yes.
So we were talking about music so much.
Thank
So
you.
let's bring it out of theoretical. Thanks so much, guys. That was lovely.
Thank you. Love you. Thanks, Kenneth.
Thank you.
All
Love
right,
you.
guys. Night.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Bye.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Bye.
Thank you. Love
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kenneth.
Kenneth.
Enjoyable.